Hey, if you've got body odor and you want to learn how to get rid of that or bad breath or any other stinky orifice on your body, you're going to want to pay attention to this broadcast tonight. Hi, I'm David DeHaas of Living Waters. And I saw a post earlier today that someone's really complaining about body odor. There's all kinds of ways that people talked about how they could potentially eliminate body odor, and none of them were going to be the permanent fix. And so I'm a guy like, what's the root cause? Let's get to the solution. What's lying underneath and why do we stink? All right. And so, as you can imagine, Living Waters, if you've been watching any of my broadcasts, we talk a lot about the gut. And so, I'm going to bring up the slide tonight, and we're going to talk about the body and the underlying cause of, you know what? You got to pay attention, right? You don't want to go out in public with that. Or maybe you've got really bad halitosis. And hopefully someone's told you about that. Maybe they're afraid to, but hopefully a friend would tell you. But I'm going to show you the root cause of that, because the first time I did my 10-day deep tissue cleanse, is the first thing I noticed after I went and played a game of basketball was like, wow, man, I don't stink. It's like, what? It was mind-boggling for me, because I did have body odor prior to, which was pretty typical to come off a court pretty stinky and sweaty. And this was like a huge noticeable change. So we want to talk about, of course, where all this emanates from is constipation. And you may not even know you're constipated, but if you're not pooping 2 to 3 times a day, in other words, if you eat and don't poop, you've got a constipated system. So let's just talk about the underlying cause of this. Is that in your gut, when your bowel is dirty, then the blood that flows in and out to the organs, tissues, and cells will not be clean. It'll actually be really dirty. Let me enlarge this and show you the full screen here. So let's see here. How do we do this? Nope, the other way. Other way? Better. Here we go. All right. So when the bowel is clean, the blood that flows in and out to the organs and tissues and cells will be clean. When the bowel is dirty and toxic, the blood will transport toxins to it from all parts of the bodies. Now, I've kind of thrown this together at the last minute, so we're going to kind of skip around here a bit on my slides, so bear with me a little bit. So what happens over time throughout our lifetime is we get stress, and we get all these emotional things happen to us, and it literally makes our gut look something like this. Now, I put a link down below that takes you to a webinar. It's free. You can watch anytime you want. But I go into great detail about this. And there's actually a doctor that comes on, Dr. Kenita Holmes, comes on about 3/4 of the way through it. She talks a lot about this. And some people talk about, well, I got a beer belly. Well, it's really not. You probably got a poop belly. We know from experience over 10 years of doing these deep tissue cleanse and healing retreats, the average person is going to lose about 10 to 15 pounds on a cleanse. And they're not losing fat or muscle. They're losing just old toxic debris. In fact, if you're one that's really skinny, you're going to find you're going to clean the body out so well, you're actually going to start to put weight back on. I've had people actually gain 10 pounds that needed to gain 10 pounds. Like I had a Crohn's gal come to our cleanse who was 87 pounds, and she was scared to death she was going to lose 10 more, but that did not happen. She actually started putting weight on because the body was now able to function perfectly. So this, you've heard the story, our gut feeling. Well, it's because in your gut, you see this chart here. This is, if I can enlarge this, can I actually increase this? Still learning this new technology, guys, so bear with me. But every organ and part in your body has a nerve that goes to the gut, to the intestinal tract. And there's more neurons in your intestinal tract than your spinal column. And so what happens over time is we get this dysfunction of having your gut look like this. Guess what? These neurons, think of it like neurons like cell phones. Cell phones are what fire, right? Fire the signal. Well, neurons fire the signal, communicate to the nerves, but there's no firing if it's covered up with poop. So we've got to clean it out. And over time, you get such a buildup in there. It can get really as hard. People see in the colonics bed when they're doing their colonics, they're seeing stuff come out that is just totally black. And it's as hard as a rubber tire. Can be, not always, but it can be really hard. And that's been in there for a long, long, long time. So we want to get to the root cause. We want to clean this out and get your gut well. So the other thing you need to know is you have in your gut villi. So the way your body works in order to get your nutrients to the cells every day is that you have to get this villi cleaned off, because over time it gets flattened down like a tile floor. And it's supposed to be more like the shag carpet over here. And that's how the vitamins and minerals actually fall into the bloodstream to go to the cells. So this is all matted down and it's putrefying or rancid. You've got a real mess. And now that's going to affect the blood system. And now the blood's doing its best, the lymphatic system's doing its best. But when you've got such a heavy toxic burden in the gut, then it doesn't matter. It's going to affect the kidneys. It's going to affect your lungs. If you've got asthma, if you're having trouble breathing, that's a problem that's strictly related to the colon. Here on this side over here, you see my cursor, is the left lungs, right? And pleural cavity. Over here is the right lungs, okay, the right side of your body, and your pleural cavity over there. So we find that when people come through, they're having breathing issues, and sometimes maybe they're on oxygen, we find that we can substantially reduce, or they can substantially reduce the amount of oxygen that they need through the day based upon their exertion by simply starting to cleanse this out and get this clean, and then we clean the blood. So on our 10-day deep tissue cleanse and healing retreat, when you come through that process, you're going to do not only clean this colon out, but you're going to do a lot of other things to clean the body. We're going to do a lymphatic cleanse. We're going to do a liver cleanse, which is huge for cleaning out the blood. I've done now 47 liver cleanses over the last 12, 13 years now. And it's amazing to me how much better I feel after every liver cleanse. I'm 61 now, and I feel better than I did when I was in my 30s and 40s. I mean, hands down, so much better. And we've seen many, many people come through with these different illnesses. But body odor, if you want to attack body odor, it's not about, I don't use deodorant. I don't wear any antiperspirant. I haven't used any of that stuff for, my gosh, well, since I did my first 10-day cleanse. I quit using it right then. Do not need deodorant if your body is functioning properly. You don't need to throw a whole bunch of cologne on or perfumes to mask the odor. You don't need to go, what would some gal say, take some bentonite and put some baking soda, and rub it on your armpits and let it soak for a bit and then get in the bath. And then someone says, put some Epsom salts in the bath. I mean, there's all these well-meaning people, but the reality is it's a reoccurring problem, and you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life. Let's get the bowels clean. Let's get the blood clean. Let's clean up the lymphatic system, right? And you're going to do that with the process. If you want to learn about the process, go to our webinar at livingwaterscleanse.com, and you're going to see how that all works. And not only would body odor improve, but every other function is going to improve as well. So if you have body odor, you may be having some brain fog as well. Maybe, maybe not. You may be having some headaches, maybe, maybe not, but usually it's all interrelated. So as people come in and fill out their intake forms, it's really amazing to me how people think that going to the bathroom once every 2 days or every 3 days or once a week, that's just been their normal for so long. They think it's normal. But they're going to have bad breath. They're going to have body odor. They're going to have, very foul smelling things coming out of their body. So that's a clue to you've got a very, a system that's really full of garbage. You want to clean that out. And so how do we clean that out? So if you're watching this for the first time, one of the tools that we use is colon hydrotherapy. Colon hydrotherapy is a simple, easy tool to use. You come into our clinic or a clinic near you, but we do a 10-day process. And I'm just going to show you what a colon hydrotherapy bed looks like. But let me show you some other examples. If you have body odor, you could or may have. You may have some dry, scaly skin, maybe not as bad as this, or some eczema. Look at this. This guy cleaned up by doing the deep tissue cleanse properly and then taking the nutrients. You may have some nail fungus, right? And here we can clean that up. That's pretty amazing. We can do this in 10 days. It's really pretty amazing. You may have some scaly scalp, itchy. That can change. This guy's pretty bad, but he cleared it up with a cleanse. Feet. My feet used to look like this years ago. So this guy's extremely acidic and had, of course, a bad fungus infection. That's all internal. That's not an external problem. You can't treat that externally. I mean, you can put some stuff on it, but it may shift at some place in the body. It may temporarily do something, but the internal problem's still there, and you're going to have another symptom sometime later. Look at that. Clean those right up. That's pretty amazing. So colon hydrotherapy, where is so think of it like this, okay? When you're young, you're like a new house, full of vibrancy. As we age, we start putting all these toxins into the house, as I call it, the gut, right? And now we're tired and lethargic. So we want to clean all this up. And we are going to show you here, if I can. Maybe I won't show it to you tonight. Huh. My slide is missing. And that is pretty strange. That I can't find that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Just hiding from me. So this is the colon hydrotherapy bed. This is your easiest, quickest, highest return on investment tool for health, for return to health that you will ever use. It's ridiculously inexpensive compared to other modalities. So this is called a Libby open system colonic bed. We're the only ones in the Boise Valley that have this type of a system. They call it gravity flow system. It's very gentle. You have control. You can turn the water off anytime. It's very private. You can see here, Anne's covered up with the blanket. So you're not exposed. You may have 10 to 30 bowel movements per session. And that may seem like, oh my gosh, that may seem totally, how could you ever do that? But you do. And a couple things are happening to undo the constipation. We want to heal the gut. We got to first dissolve all the old fecal matter in the gut, and then we got to rehydrate that muscle, and then we got to tone it. What I mean by tone it, it's like going to the gym. We got to literally, I call it doing push-ups for the colon. So when water is trickling in, that muscle wants to do this. It wants to push back. Now, at first, it's kind of weak the first time you do a push-up, but the more hydration you do and the more the water's going in, the more push-ups or push back happens with the colon. And now it starts to build up the muscle and it starts to get back to its proper shape. So this is if you want to come take a tour, if you're here in Boise area, if you want to come take a tour, just give us a call. But definitely watch the full webinar. We go into much detail about what we do, the 35 steps we do in our 10-day cleanse process. But if you want to tip your toes in the water and come do a cleanse so that you can reverse some of these issues, I can guarantee if you've got body odor, you may have a colon that could look like this. So, and there's, of course, parasites dwelling this. Hey, tomorrow night, I'm going to talk about parasites because we have the blood moon coming on. The planets are aligning. It's a major equinox event. Here we go. Another situation, the left side. Or you can have what they call a spastic type colon. So this is pinching down to the descending colon. You're probably going to have very narrow, when you have, you're looking at the toilet, you probably have very narrow, maybe even if you got rabbit type, we call a rabbit type poo, you're definitely constipated. You may end up having some pockets in your intestinal walls that's causing a problem. There's diverticuli. So this is where it's really pooched out the side of the wall. Only way you're going to heal this is you're going to have to hydrate it. We start hydrating it. We start rebuilding that muscle. We start dissolving all this old fecal matter so we can undo all of this. Here's just some more other twisted, distorted colons you can see here. But if you have this, you've definitely got body odor. And putting stuff on the skin or on the pores to block the smell from coming out, it's kind of like never opening it's like having a refrigerator where you've let stuff sit in there for maybe years and you've never, and now you decide to like tape the refrigerator shut. That's what putting stuff on your skin's like, right? It's just, you still want to use the refrigerator. In this case, you still want to use your body and heal it up. So that's about as simple as it gets for healing body odor. All right, can we change this? We can change it, I think. Okay, anyway, so here we are. So if you want to know more about this, definitely go watch the webinar. It's a requirement for you. You can come in and be a customer anyway, so you might as well just watch it. We do not like to take customers that are uneducated, and if you're somebody that you just want someone to tell you what to do, we're not the place for you to come. We're really not. Do not even call us. Don't come in. We want people who want to take the power of their own bodies. That's the type of person we like to work with, because the more knowledge you get, you feel empowered, and you should be in charge of your body, not giving your power to someone else. So if you're interested, come taking a tour, chatting with us. That's all great, but definitely you need to watch the webinar. I put the link there. Definitely watch it, and so you don't have to be a stinky person anymore. So I'm David DeHaas on behalf of Living Waters. You make it a blessed evening. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be talking about some parasites activity tomorrow.